Alright, today's video we're going to talk about vermicomposting, which is using worms to create compost, as well as something called worm tea. So what we're looking at here is a little bin that I was able to get through Amazon, and it stacks, so there's different levels to it, and you can see it's got a little spigot built directly into it. So the worms are going to be doing their job, and everything kind of drips down so that you can kind of get to this tea. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But basically you can kind of see how it's built. This unit came with a lid as well as a liner that goes within the lid, but during the first couple of days you only want to use the liner so the worms get used to living within the bed. As a trigger warning, there's about to be some worms on the screen. These are called red wrigglers, and they are like the standard compost worm. Now, of course, you should just go directly to your worm guy if you need compost worms, but if you need to, you can also buy them from Amazon. Believe it or not, they just send them in the mail. I got these in a few days, and they look really healthy. Now, rather than just using garden soil or dirt in the bin, I used the brick of coconut maneuver. You could buy this coconut stuff in blocks, and you could just soak it in water for 10 to 15 minutes. It's a really nice soil, really great consistency, and apparently this is gangbusters for worms. Now, it's a lot easier to add water than remove it, so just go slow with the water if you're going to go this route, and you just want to make it so that when you squeeze it, if any drops come out, maybe one or two. Back to the bin, pour everything in, and it looks really nice. So the next step is, of course, adding worms to the mix. I also got myself some coffee grounds set aside as a bit of worm food. If you're going to go the vermicomposting method, I would suggest taking a look at what worms do like, what they eat, what they don't eat, what you should stay away from. It's a little bit different than regular composting. I'm not going to list everything here. Now, these worms are traumatized. They just went through the mail, now they've got a new home, so they need a couple of days to chillax. So directly after pouring some in, we don't really want to do a lot to disturb them. We want to let them settle themselves. Instead, we're going to add a little bit of food, then we're going to keep some coconut and soil on deck so that when we add more food in the future, we can kind of pile more bedding on top of that. The idea is that this thing will go up. A pound of these worms can eat a half a pound of food a day and turn it into compost as well as worm tea. Now that juice, if you mix it with water, it creates like a super plant juice fertilizer. So you win both ways. You can make really fast compost this way, as well as create worm tea in the process. Alright, so that's it for my very quick video on vermicomposting. If you have more questions about it, I can create more and more content about this. I just don't yet know how well received the gardening content is, so if you like this video, give it a like, share it, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching.